In my latest video, I showed the progress I've made on creating a system for grabbable and destructible objects. I'm calling this class Carry Item. This class included a custom mesh to implement second-order motion. We also defined collisions that ignored the owning player. This class also had a health system, and when its health reached 0, we designed a despawn mechanism. However, this class still needs some systems to be completed. Also, we will need some specific implementations for specific objects too. So let's see them one by one. Let's go. If the player's carrying multiple objects, they can't tell which one's selected. There's no visual feedback. So the next step was to design a decal material to show which carry item is being manipulated. For the pattern, I used a pretty basic horizontal stripes texture. When I built the material in Unreal Engine, I added parameters so I can modify color, intensity, or size to suit the object better. Here you can see an example of how it looks. Now that we can tell which object we're working with, it's time to actually do stuff with them. That's why I implemented an object attachment system. The goal of this system is very clear. 1. Be able to attach objects and change the state of both objects attached. 2. The object that received the interaction doesn't have to be carry items. 3. The object receiving the interaction must know that something has attached to it, so can modify its state. 4. The system must be able to undo this change, meaning they become independent objects again. You might not want this to happen all the time, but you want to have the option for more control. Okay, so let's resolve the requirements. 1. To be able to attach to another object, the passive object must allow it. This was achieved using a unique action system. Let's say I have a key, so to open a door with it, the door must allow the use key action. With this system, an object can behave different actions when is attached to different objects, because each object responds to a different action. 3. To achieve the third requirement, I make use of interfaces and delegates. With the interface, I can ask any object what behavior it wants to execute when an object is attached to it, and using the delegate, I collect that behavior and call it when the attachment is complete. And for the last goal, the solution is very simple. Since the attached objects still function as an independent object, when you point to it, instead of the pickup object action appearing in the screen, the remove attachment action will appear. As final step, we notify both objects that they are not attached anymore using a delegate. Now that we have a more complete system, let's look at some examples of the unique uses of different carry items. First, we have basic resources like stone and wood, which are primarily used to craft different items. However, they also have more uses. For example, you can attach one sharp rock into one wood plank and use them as an axe, which can cut down trees to obtain more wood. Among the craftable items, there is a bear trap. It does immobilize the player who get trapped on it. There are also tomatoes which have a similar purpose to bear traps, since these tomatoes can be thrown, and the strength of the throw depends on how long you spend recharging the action. Great. Now, we have a more complete system with the ease to create any object we can imagine. Of course, there are still many more parts of the game that could be interesting to document, such as the voice chat system or the crafting system. If you have made it this far, I would appreciate it if you like the video, and if you want to stay tuned and see the next dev videos, press the subscription button. That's all. See you soon.